to each of three students, G, R, W, one or more presentations, and each presentation will be on exactly one of three subjects. So M, G, J, and S. And so, okay, there will be at least one presentation on each subject. And because of the student's interest and needs, the assignments must conform to the following constraints. So I would go on to, if George presents on J, then so does Rita. So I would do G, J, and then like an arrow, and then R, J.
Excellent. Okay.
And so I would go on and say, so RS, then negative WS.
Okay.
Okay, so is it helpful for that rule to write RW negative on S?
Okay, yeah, I do my contrapositive. So you're saying that if W is S, then R is not S, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. I usually don't do a lot of contrapositives just because they mess me up in the games. So I leave them like, I don't know, like floating.
Practice doing your contrapositives for a time period just so you get comfortable with them and you start seeing where you're messing them up. Because to get to,
Okay.
just FYI, like, and it's okay, like, just like flip it, reverse it, so that you get so comfortable that I don't want you to be nervous on your actual test, or if you need to do it, you're afraid to do it.
Okay. Anyone who presents on, so I would write, so like I don't know, like a dash or something, and then M, and so an arrow, and then also S.
Yeah, I would just do M and S, to be honest. And then what's the contrapositive of this one?
Okay.
Do you know what is the contrapositive?
Yeah. Negative S and negative M.
If you don't have S, then you can't have M. Excellent. This one, like, honestly, if I was doing this one, I don't know if I would do worlds for it because it's kind of simple. But we could though. So let's think. What is the most constrained variable here? Probably if R is S, right? So if R is S, what do we know?
If R is an S, then W cannot be an S. I mean, W can, yeah.
All right, and if W does not have S, what else do we know? This is where your contrapositives really are helpful.
So let's say
If you don't have S, who else can you not have?
M.
So if W doesn't have S and it doesn't have M, who does W have to have?
J.
J. Excellent. So that's helpful. So if S has R, we know that W has J. So this is world one. And then world two would just be that R is not S. Because like there's not really anything we can do other than, all right, we know what happens if R is S. But in this one, we would say that it's that R does not have S. And if R does not have S, what else do we know?
So W could be S.
Yes, but what do we know for certain about R if R does not have S in world two? What do we know if
The
you don't have S?
M.
You don't have M. And if R doesn't have S and they don't have M, what do we know?
It has J.
Excellent. So we can just go ahead and put J in for this one. And so we don't really know about anybody else. But trying to think if G's and J, R's and J. So I would probably then just go into my questions based off of this, and because I feel like I would have like a good understanding of who could be where. I honestly for this one though would probably leave in what I couldn't have, like just so I remind myself, since they could have multiple, I'd be like, okay, I know this one is done, and I know this one is done. Like just for their letters. Like, you know, like, and like in world one, W can't have anything but J.
Yeah.
And in world two, R cannot have anything but J.
Yeah, I see it.
And so then the only ones that we have to figure out are G and W. And then in world one, we would still have to figure out G. Oh, yeah, we still have to figure out G and we still have to figure out R. But we have one done. And then I would go into my questions.
Okay.
All right, so for 22, it says, I'm going to use orange. If G presents only on J, so we're saying that G is only J, which of the following could be true? So this could happen in either world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So G is J and then it's done. So nothing else. So in world one, if G's on J, what does that mean about, so if G has J, we know that R also has to have J, correct?
J. Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and put J in here. And I already have J in the bottom one. I see that the bottom one is also done. So both of these only have J. So then what does that mean for W in world two?
So it has to have S.
And
M.
because they all have to be used at least once, right?
Yeah.
So that would be for two. And then for one, we what else has to be true for R?
J. S and J.
And what's there's one issue with one right now. Do you see what the issue is?
J is in 3.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay,
We
so
have J in 3, so like 1, 2, 3, not a problem. We have S in 1.
M,
Yeah, where does M go?
so an R,
Yeah, why does it have to go in R?
because it can't be in W, and the only one that goes in G is J.
Excellent. All right, so now let's start with A. Could it be true that R presents on both M and S, but not J?
Okay. Um, M and S. No.
No, because we have J for, I mean, for other reasons, but as soon as this one says not J, I'm like wrong because we have J in both of these.
Yeah.
All right, try B.
Okay. Represents on both. Okay, wrong as well.
Right, because we either have it on all three or we have just J.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Represents on all three subjects. Okay, could be true.
Excellent. All right, pass it.
20% on Chase S. Okay, wrong because of the second one.
Yeah.
And then wrong as well because of the first one.
Yeah, well, and well, both, right? Because if we have J, we can't have either of them.
Yeah.
And then the second one, we don't have J. So that can't be true. So then our answer has to be C.
Awesome.